NFA 12's pre-fight show. Alongside me is Jordan Dowdy, Adam Cella. We got some big news today. I'm Lance Declue. So we're going to be running down the fights for NFA 12. We're going to start off with some disappointing news, unfortunately. At 9 o'clock this morning, we got word that Lewis actually suffered a knee injury. So the main event right now is on hold. We're trying to find a replacement for him, but Jeremiah Cutright is ready for if somebody does step up.
Yeah, and Jeremiah said he's going to fight whoever says yes. So it's really the lines are out, whoever bites first.
So opening up the fight card is going to be Chance Cormick versus Josh Spruill. These are both two really young guys making their debut. Josh Spruill's coming out of Han MMA. They just had a young guy, Zach McCoy, who looked very good. So if he keeps up with the young group there, that should be a really good fight. And then Chance Cormick is the little brother of Colton Cormick.
And Colton and those guys, if you follow them online, they train hard. They're always really skilled in what they do. They have a really solid team. They're always together doing stuff. There's a lot of group photos. I mean, they just have a real good time with it. So I'm sure he's going to come in pretty well rounded out the gate, just like a lot of the guys we've seen recently as well.
Yeah, and out of that Parabellum team, they've definitely got good jiu-jitsu. So, is he going to stand? Is he going to try to get it down and finish on the ground? I mean, these young guys, especially starting off this card, this is kind of the way to do it.
Yeah, that should be a really good opener. Then we got Jake Kaser versus Javante Knight.
He was out of Wise Warriors, still is, and his last fight was a debut. He gave up some weight to take on Toby Cavillo, and what I remember most about it was he looked impressive. He looked real comfortable in there, but he also looked like he was having a lot of fun. Even on his debut, walking in, it didn't seem like there was any nerves. He was jumping around the cage, smiling, laughing, having a good time. That's kind of what I would expect to see out of him again, and after you've had that first experience, and it's a positive one, when you get back into the gym, it's just easier to improve, easier to look forward to the next one, so I think we'll see him be at another level this time as well.
Absolutely. If you're having fun, the fight's easy. I mean, you and I have been in this a long time, that whenever it stops being fun, things don't go the way they're supposed to go. You start getting little nagging injuries. It's always on your mind, things like that. So when you go out and you have fun, especially in that first fight, the next one's going to be a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. You're probably going to progress faster than you would.
And Javante Knight's coming out of Capital City, which those guys are pretty tough themselves. So.
Yeah, they always bring a tough fight.
So that should be a really good fight as well. We also have Terry Copeland against Marcellus Edwards. Marcellus actually goes by Cell, but
Terry has all tough fights. Every time you've seen him fight, it was against a stud, whether it was Tavon Taylor or Drake Manconi last time. I mean, he's just not had a good go of it with some of the strength competition here, but he'll only grow from that if he stays with it because he's at a good gym, Smith Pitt, and we all know those guys. Dakota Bush won the other night, so hopefully he gets the call back up soon. They're going to be tough, well-rounded, talented, gritty, and like you said, he's taking on Marcellus Edwards, and he's 2-0 in kickboxing, so he's going to try and right the ship here, Copeland is.
Yeah, Copeland's he's gonna probably look, I would say, to take it down. Someone who's 2-0 in kickboxing is probably going to try to keep it standing, you would think. And down there at Smith Pit, you guys know that they train everything. Heavy wrestlers, good grapplers, so I look at him trying to get that down quick.
Well, and Cell, you said 2-0 in kickboxing. He's also had trouble in MMA, so he's going to try to get his MMA game going as well. So should be both of them looking to right the ship there. Next up, then, we have a kickboxing fight, Calvin Williams against Kendall Witt.
Well, I'll speak on Calvin, and I'll let you speak on Kendall. Calvin's been around a while. Tall, lanky kid. He's growing up a little bit lately, but he's always training. He was just in the stand-up fight series tournament over there, so he's got good experience there, focusing on his stand-up exclusively. Long, lanky kid. Always training, always hitting pads, moving around. He used to train a lot with Jared Block and a lot of those guys from MCS crowd. So the experience he's had in the last year, I would be curious to see how he does match up against a really athletic, powerful Kendall.
Yeah, the thing with Kendall is crazy is because he came into this sport. I was with him when he first started at another gym, and he was a college wrestler, super athletic, great kid. His stand-up never really looked like fantastic. I guess it's because we always assumed he's going to be a wrestler with his background. But Kendall actually is a way better kickboxer than he is an MMA guy. I mean, he does. We saw a couple shows ago. He looked unbelievable as a kickboxer. Like, that was his background. It was like, this kid should never grapple again, as good as he looked. But, I actually got to work with him the other day, and he's looking sharp. He looks fast. and his combos have gotten a lot smoother. But the big difference is his defense. He is very hard to hit.
Well, and now that he's getting more polished, more experience here, whenever he's done making the rounds on these stand-up fights, and he may choose that to be his way to go, and that'd be fine if he wants to do that. But if he were to go back to MMA after getting a little bit more of the stand-up experience, I'd be excited to see him put it all together too.
Absolutely. If he went back to MMA, I have no doubt in my mind that he would be more confident. But then he can always rely on his wrestling background to get the fight to the ground. Just get him in a good jiu-jitsu gym, and the sky's the limit.
Oh, and to your point, we talked about he had trouble in MMA. We talked about he's a lot better than his record has shown, but he's found a home in kickboxing as of late.
And
so.
some of that in those MMA fights was just kind of bad luck. It's just sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
It's the world of MMA.
Yes.
Next up, we got Jacob Hiley versus Arlandis Henderson.
And Jacob Hiley's another one of these guys out of the Smith pit. He's 3-0 right now. Shows a lot of talent. He was in the mix to go for the 170 title here soon, but Clark Stith, the winner of that, had a knee injury. He's been out. He had surgery on it. So that could be something down the line, too, that these guys are angling for. And he's taking on tough Arlandis Henderson, which, if you guys remember that slam from last time, that was awesome. But I'm excited to see this one because this is none of those young, highly talented fights from our Amis that have just put on good performances here.
Yeah, this fight is exactly what we all look for in a matchup. It's evenly matched. You can't really pick a winner, but each guy comes in with something to prove. And then, I have to say with Henderson with that slam, if he does that again, I might do a backflip. I might do a backflip off the cage for him. Because that was Jordan. We've been around for a long time, and you even said you don't think you've ever seen one in real life.
Not.
It was pretty cool.
It was cool, and he had another quick finish right after that. So he's riding a hot hand here. So he might look to try and put it on Hiley early and see if he can get another quick finish.
But now, if he doesn't get that quick finish, is he able to go the distance? Is he able to, So what happens? Did I say your words?
No, I was gonna say Hiley's gone the distance twice, so he's got the cardio. So that's a good point.
Well, I just know. So when I started, I was like kickboxing. I was like 9-0, all first round finishes, right? After I got out of that first round, the first time, I was exhausted. I was like, where the hell am I? I'd never been here. This doesn't happen to me. I couldn't breathe. It's a different feeling. So we have to see that if he doesn't get that quick finish, what's going to happen? The later rounds.
Could be a factor, or he could just be ready for it. But a matchup like this is something you want to see for these guys to develop, and something we want to see as entertainment. Yeah,
the only slam I can remember was Tito Ortiz and Evan Tanner. That's the only slam KO that I can really remember. Oh, you're right, Matt Hughes.
But he was. I think he slammed him because he was choked out, and then up after slamming him. There's been a lot of slams.
Yeah, Ortiz and Tanner was a belly to belly. I remember that.
You remember there was the one kid Jordan.
Jordan?
One of the one of the UFCs. Remember he picked him up and slammed him, but his forearm was like under his chin, knocked him out. It was just recently, within the past year.
Yeah, the biggest one I've seen was Arlandis.
Yeah, well, sure. That was cool.
That was right in front of us.
That was cool.
Too, so, before we go any farther, let's thank our sponsors: Sub-Zero Wellness, Harold Distco, Gillies Groundwork, Unrivaled Realty, Wesley Rogers, Army National Guard, Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill, HKA USA, JC's AC, Prime Health Centers, Holsey Roofing, American Family Insurance, Crystal Kramer. All right, now on to what is currently our main event until hopefully we can find Kurt Wright a new opponent. But we got a great featherweight title, Ray Hayes against Isaac Dancy. Tell me what you guys think about that.
Ray Hayes, 21 years old, 7-0. His first fight, I remember watching him, was against, 6 foot, 8 foot. It was just a weird stylistic matchup. And I remember watching that and going, well, this kid, he really just kind of persevered through it. And then all of a sudden, he's off to the races here. He's 7-0. He's got multiple ways to win. He's got 3 submission wins, 2 TKO wins, a couple decisions here. Well-rounded, coming out of Parabellum with the Carmax. And, every time you see those guys, they're very, very skilled. And he's on the way up here for sure. And against a guy like Isaac Dancy, who's also on a roll, I mean, this is a great main event, or temporary main event, unless we can find Kurt Wright one.
Neither man has been stopped. Neither one's been stopped. That loss was a decision for Isaac Dancy. Also, they've fought all over. Ray, welterweight once, lightweight 5 times, featherweight once. He was originally going to be for our lightweight title, Luke Winston wasn't ready to fight yet, so Ray said, well, give me the 145 title. So that's actually how we got here. Isaac Dancy's fought at middleweight once, lightweight 5 times, and featherweight twice. So they've been up and down weight classes. Neither one's been stopped. I mean, this should be a war.
Yeah, on paper, this is one of those fights where this is the main event on paper, right? This looks great. Both guys, tail of the tape matches up perfectly. Obviously, we want Jeremiah Cartwright to get, his fight in here because he is
100%.
On a roll. He's looking good, and he's looking to build that pro career. But these guys right here are going to bring the heat. They're going to, if it's up to them, they're going to close the show with fireworks.
Yeah, and Isaac, the last time we saw him against Aaron Lake, looked polished, calm, collected. He's very athletic. He's very fast twitch at the same time, too, so he can kind of lull you into this and then burst on you. He's really impressed me with the way he looked and the way he's developed in the last few fights, for sure.
I feel both men are going to be challenged in this fight. They're definitely going to be a challenge for both of them. And, I mean, obviously you got to have a winner. So,
yeah.
And when it comes to Cartwright, so hopefully we do find him a fight, but I want to speak on him a little bit. This is a guy that took 2 incredibly tough fights out the gate. He started off 0-2, and, just it speaks to his grit and determination that he willed himself back to a win streak here. The only real loss he had coming off of let me go over this again. He won 4 straight before a short notice loss in LFA. And that was one of those that you just kind of take on short notice because if you win it, that could jumpstart your career a little bit quicker. And then that's really impressive to me to start off behind 0-2 because you can get real discouraged. And we've seen people, because then under the pressure of that, then you go to the next fight, you just feel the stress. And he didn't do that. He rebounded, won 4 in a row straight before that little short notice thing, which we've all been there. Those happen at this level. So he's been really impressive to me. I hope that he can find someone to step up and fight him.
Yeah, the thing with him, with Jeremiah, he actually started at the gym I was at a long time ago. And he was like a talented, athletic kid. That was cool. And then he left and ended up at St. Charles MMA. And to see the growth under all those guys up there with like Jimmy Donahue and stuff like that, it's kind of cool just because I saw where he started and I see where he's at. And I really hope we can fill that spot because I want to see him put on a show.
Well, before we have the fights, the guys got to weigh in. So join us October 14th at 6:30 live from Hot Shots Bar and Grill for the official weigh-ins, and then join us live October 15th, Arnold, Missouri, Eagles Hall, or you can catch us on pay-per-view.
And that's
FightingLions.com.
That's the Hot Shots in Arnold because they have several locations.
My mistake.
Hot Shots in Arnold. Let's make sure we go there. So
Yes.
you guys don't
Yeah, make sure you go to the right Hot Shots. Sorry, yes, the
show
one
me
in
the wrong
Arnold.
one looking for boys in underwear.
But again, I am Lance Declue, Jordan Dowdy, Adam Cella. We'll see you at the fights.